What's up, people? It's the 12th of July. It's Tuesday, and I wasn't really planning on making a video today. Um, but a couple things. Michael Dawson, thank you for the card. Thank you very much. An Autobahn card too. Thank you. Um, I just found out. So that's kind of what got me, because I like sharing news with everyone, but even more specifically with my family, because my big sister in particular, who I know watches, and Kareem, my oldest nephew, I know they watch me pretty regular. Well, actually, my great nephews, the twins. So it's like being able to share with them as well as in general. But so as I showed a few videos back, I have a feature article in a local magazine, Omaha Magazine. Well, it turns out I'm in another magazine as well, a national magazine. Jack White's label Third Man Records sponsors, or is part of their deal. They have a magazine called Maggot Brain, named after the Funkadelic album. And the latest issue, which I think has Raymond Pettibon on the cover, the guy that did a lot of Black Flag and SST's artwork. I believe that's Greg Ginn's brother, actually. In the latest issue is an article about David Nance. As you know, I play with David Nance. He's officially calling the band Mode Sound now. Well, I don't have a copy of the magazine yet. I'm going to try to get one, but Dave showed me through Instagram beautiful layout of his magazine. And one of the featured pictures is a selfie that I took of us, of the band. So I'm in the magazine, a picture of me. I don't know what is said, if anything, about me in the article by David. But that was pretty cool to see my image in another magazine, a national international magazine this month. So if you subscribe to Maggot Brain, you'll see me in the latest issue. I thought, of course, I think that's very cool. It's one of the true perks or rewards of being involved in music in a public manner. The thing that kind of fascinated me, I've said this before, going all the way back to the Beatles. What was I fascinated about regarding Beatlemania? And what did I really want from it? And it wasn't the freaky fandom, it was the acknowledgement for what you do, which is what I'm receiving. I like sharing that that's what's going on. Along those lines, I was checking out the lineup for this year's Lincoln Calling, a music festival that I am thankfully back on the bill. One of the bigger acts being touted is Tank and the Bangas. So I check them out. I check everything out, folks, and Tank and the Bangas are very good. It's a rootsy sound. And the comment I'd like to make is, interesting that so much of what is popular is a throwback musically. It's like it's like it's like each generation finding its parents' record collection, which is cool. So I'm cool that I'm glad that I'm on the same bill with them. I don't know that I'm playing the same night. I'm playing the last night of the festival, so chances are I'll be playing the same night they are. Maybe I'll get to see them and meet them. So a little bit of music yesterday. I worked on my set for the festival all day. I've got my set. I've got it, even though it may change, but I've got the set together. Really excited, and this is in 2 months, and I'm already excited about playing. But besides that, I listened to some Haxan Cloak, Excavation. And this was, yesterday wasn't a good day for it. This is really dark. Sound work. It makes me think of horror film soundtracks a little bit. It's a keeper, but yesterday wasn't a good day for it. On the other hand, this went down a storm. Bowie just seems to sound better with time to me. Heathen. Some good songs on here. And this is there's several versions of this out. This is yeah, pretty cool. I think I got this at Barnes & Noble. You know, I'd be thinking about all kinds of stuff. Death is something I'm thinking about a lot because it's either Wednesday or Thursday this week, but a year ago is when I found my brother's dead body in his apartment. So it's just part of what's in my mind, you know, mortality, all kinds of feelings and thoughts. And Bowie, so the thought was, it's like, you know, I have a lot of thoughts. It's like, with the idea of reality being very likely an infinite thing, our time as humans is so short, you know, basically less than 100 years. Is that really it? You know, I just wonder. It's like my personality will likely, is, as far as we know, it ends when my physical presence ends. But the spark that illuminates me, that is living in this body, we understand that is, you know, energy doesn't die. So is there a second act? What happens next? You know, we only have ideas, but we don't, no one really knows. Curious to me. Something else I played yesterday. This is a keeper, but it's dated. Saint Just, La Casa del Lago. Don't let me misspeak. I'm not sure where they're from. I think it's Italian, but it's more on the folk side of Prague. It's really not even Prague at all to my ears. Blue vinyl reissue. It's folky, but it's jammy in that they'll do songs and they go on and they build an intensity, and they're based around this Jane Sorrenti, related to Alan Sorrenti, I'm pretty sure. And she's given it all she's got, but she's really not a very good vocalist. So this is one that I would read about regarding prog albums and stuff you should hear. So when I finally was able to get a copy, I grabbed it. It's really it's kind of so-so in my opinion, musically. Pulled this because I have his records. Jan Schaffer, guitarist who's played with it, you know, done a lot of session work. He's played on most of ABBA's hits. So he's from that country. Is it Sweden? He's a good player. I have a few of his albums, but none that I like a whole lot. I grab them because when I find them really cheap, and that's the case here, that's what I do. This one is kind of interesting because he tries to add an electronic element to the jazz fusion thing that he usually does here. So that's kind of interesting. Traffic. It's one of those things, if you see it cheap, you know, it's worth it, you know, but beyond that, unless that's what you're really into. He's a good player. He's a good musician. Dave Newhouse, I know you watch regularly. I'm so glad that you took a moment to listen to Sakamoto. He is exceptional throughout his discography. One of the finest. And he is a direct influence on how I write. I'm not trying to sound like him because I can't. But think about, you know, the track that you're playing on my next album. detect a bit of that Sakamoto sort of aesthetic, as opposed to maybe I'm definitely more Sakamoto than, say, Chick Corea. Okay. Really enjoyed this yesterday. So glad that I still have an original U.S. copy of Cream's Disraeli Gears. Again, to me, the standouts of this band, and always were from the very beginning, were Jack Bruce and Ginger Baker, not Eric Clapton. Although, as a young kid, I did rate Eric Clapton for a little while, and then I, started to really listen to everybody else, and it's like, oh, okay. But this is, especially for the time, 1967, this is a brilliant album. Very blues-based, but also very English at the same time. And I'm still not tired of the hit Sunshine of Your Love. This was really enjoyable yesterday. Here's one that I pulled that I don't know much about. Posted it online, found a little bit out about it, but also found out that a lot of people don't know about this record. And by showing it, I got a lot of thanks. It's like, whoa, yeah, this is good. It's like, why didn't I know about this? Heliocentric. This is a jazz, kind of a jazz rock, jazz fusion type of sound. Somewhere in there, in the area, just, I'd say below Chick Corea. You know what I'm trying to say. Okay. Good playing, though. Heliocentric came out in the 70s. The primary person here, who's unfortunately passed away already, is a keyboardist named Jeff Pressing. I got some info on the post, one of the posts from Chris Cole, from the VC. He knows this stuff inside and out. This is a good album. Everyone plays well on this album. And it, interestingly, at the end of each side is a is a little statement by the drummer. It's kind of funny. I don't know who thought of that, but it's pretty cool. So I'm just going to go ahead and stop there. And I'll be back.